Welcome to the DNA Advantage podcast, where you can learn facts about your DNA that can help you live a healthier, longer life, doing all the activities you dream of doing. If you want to gain more control over your health and the factors that influence it, you're in the right place. Hello there. I'm here just to run through a couple of ideas about getting to a better place with our health and our performance. And it's so interesting because it's different for everyone. And it's not something that I would ever just pose a standardized, take this supplement or change this behavior and it will make all the difference, because it's not going to for everyone. One of the things that we all want is an easy fix. I don't know that that's ever going to change. But what we can do is take the easiest steps toward better health for ourselves by really getting to know ourselves. And the first step is awareness. We need to become more aware of what is going on in our bodies. What have we been blindly going to every day, or what are our processes just assuming that this is what I do every day and I'm on autopilot. Recognizing that when we're doing the same things repeatedly, we're going to get the same results, and what is it that we want to change. So the first thing I would say, I've talked to a couple of clients this week that brought up this theme because there were some questions that brought me back to the same answers, and that is, we need to appreciate what it is that we're frustrated by. What is it that we want to be different in our lives? Is it that we want to have a different level of energy? Or is it that we want to have a different mood? It could be so many different things. We could just feel unproductive, or we feel like we're not focused and feeling distracted all the time. And why do I always feel like something is pulling me away from what I'm currently doing? If we can become more centered and aware of ourselves and the cues that we're getting from our own bodies and what our behaviors are, what are the demands that we have on us, to really start paying attention to all of those clues, it helps us gain insight as to what we can change. And we don't have to change everything at once. That's another big thing that makes it much more complicated and much more challenging when we think about improving our lives or making a difference for our health or for our performance. If we're looking at having to change everything about our current lives, we're not going to do it, or at least we're not going to stick with it. We also won't know what's truly making the difference, what's really helping us and changing things for the better, or what could be causing disruption and difficulty that we won't be able to maintain or benefit from. If we can increase our awareness and really gain a sense of what it is that we want to achieve, let's just use an example that we want to be more productive. Then we can take a step forward in observing our behaviors and what it is that is either contributing to productivity or distracting us from being intentional in our productivity. I really like the idea of writing things down or documenting it on your computer or on your phone, but it seems easiest to write things down. Because if we can take notes, no matter where we are, we could be at the grocery store, we could be at home, we could be upstairs, downstairs, whatever. We want to be able to document things on the go, writing down the fact that I've been distracted by, let's say, laundry, the kids, phone calls, and I spent 20 minutes on Facebook. Really being able to document for a full day what it is that might be distracting me from my productivity. Now, we also can document what is working for us. So we might find that during the hours of noon and 2, we're super productive. And then we can look at what did we do differently. when we feel good about our productivity and we feel good about what we've accomplished and we identify what has contributed to it, it's powerful. We can implement that across more of our day. We can chunk our time in a way that is specifically supporting what we've done in those hours. Maybe we shut our computer and we work only in writing, or vice versa. We only focus on one electronic device. I think we need to be able to discern what's working for us and what's not, and make that pros and cons list. What's working for us, what's not working for us, or what's working against us, because that can be really challenging. If we allow for everything around us to dictate what we do, we're just going to be pulled and pushed around all the time. So really narrowing in on one area of your life that you really want to improve. It could be productivity, as I mentioned. It could be more energy. When we look at what's contributing to our energy, again, taking a day to look at when do I have the most energy, when do I have the least energy, and then what am I doing before those really high energy times or low energy times. If we have low energy all the time, it's not a showstopper. It doesn't mean you didn't get any information. What we're doing then is we look at what was our sleep, what did we do to prepare for sleep? Is that the key that we need? And if that's the case, then we zoom in on improving sleep. If it's more about, I feel like I have more energy after I eat a meal, then we look at which meals do we feel like we're really powered by, and we identify what was contained in each of those meals that were most powerful for us and supportive, and we really zoom in on what's going to help us and make sure that our meals are structured in a way that are super supportive. Maybe we feel like we have more energy around working out, if we've gone for a walk, or if we've been up and active and maybe doing yoga or doing some kind of workout. It is important to recognize that movement is very valuable for energy, for mindset, for our mood. It's incredible how much it contributes to, and certainly our health, contributing to heart health and just giving us a sense of true balance, and of course making sure that we can maintain our ideal weight. But when it comes right down to the overarching contributors, our schedule and our daily activities are things that we can take for granted, and we can really just get into that extreme override where we're on autopilot. And when we're on autopilot, we don't question it. We just do it. We just keep moving. We do the same things over and over again, same time frame, same schedules. It's just comfortable. The brain can get stuck in patterns of behavior based on what we're used to. The brain says, I'm not going to present any resistance to this because I know it's safe, I know it's comfortable, and it's not going to be challenging because this is what we do on a regular basis, even if it's not supporting your health. And that's where we really need to challenge ourselves with heightened awareness. We need to be able to recognize what is truly working for us and what is something that we need to change. If we need to have more energy, we need to look at our sleep patterns. What time are we going to bed? Are we sleeping well? Do we feel like we have deep rest? When we wake up, do we feel very well rested, or do we feel like we could just go back to sleep? And looking at the contributors. I had a client recently who was talking to me about the process of sleep and the fact that it's a habit to drink a glass of wine after dinner. And how long has this habit been going on? What is the reason that it started? Going back to the foundation of it, it's all about togetherness and having a glass of wine together with his partner. And the reality is, it is not serving him at all. It was holding him back from the deep REM sleep that he would normally have, even though initially it might feel like I fall asleep faster. It was disruptive. As soon as that changed, it improved. Sleep improved, feeling like there was better restful sleep. When he woke up, he felt more rested. He felt ready for the day and less fatigued and just not hangover-ish, because one glass of wine or two, that's not going to necessarily cause a hangover, but it can really impact deep REM sleep. So looking at what are we just taking for granted and what could we be doing differently, just one thing. I'm not asking for people to make a complete overhaul for your health. Just looking at one thing that you're doing repetitively, you've just kind of been doing it without question, and start looking at it. Nutrition is another big thing, what we're eating, what we're snacking on, and how often are we snacking? Is it something that we do because our schedule is so stuck in a routine and we need to really step up the game and look at what our schedule is, make sure that we schedule our meals in a way that they're supportive of our activity level, and vice versa. We want to make sure that we are living consciously, we're making decisions with intention, that we are thinking of what are our long-term goals, to be healthier, to live longer, to have more movement in our lives, to be able to be active and to achieve whatever performance goal you have, whether it's walking 3 miles or whether it's running a marathon or climbing a mountain. We have to be aware of what it is that we are wanting to achieve, because our body needs the raw materials to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish. And if it's being awake at 6 a.m., we need to go to bed at a time that is reasonable, that we're going to get enough sleep. And then we need to prepare for sleep. If we're not sleeping well, and I can completely appreciate, because I had a client like that too recently, that not sleeping well is a game changer. And we need to make sure that we're contributing and leading up to all of the successful behaviors that contribute to restful sleep. And sometimes it's out of our hands, or at least it feels that way, and we can get ourselves back to better sleep and get ourselves on track if we're really mindful about it. We track what we're doing leading up to sleep, and we take the responsibility back instead of giving it away and saying, I just don't sleep. I just can't sleep. We can't just give in and accept that. We have to go in and micromanage it and really look at what is contributing to our sleep or our poor sleep, and what can we do to change it. One thing at a time, we can tweak it and change it and see what makes a difference. And sometimes it absolutely is hormones or stress or our cortisol levels, and all of those things we can influence. So we just have to take a moment to step back and appreciate what's going on and become more conscious about things. We also need to look at our mindset and our expectations, because when we are accepting the way things are and just assuming that it's going to continue to be that way, that is a mindset and an expectation that we then are not playing as an active participant in that decision. We're not taking ownership of the decisions that we could be making that are different, that could truly impact what's going on, whether it's sleep or pain or being able to have good digestion. I mean, there are so many different aspects of health, and I know I'm all over the board when I give examples, but I'm just trying to pull from the different examples that I see on a regular basis with my clients and be able to show you that we do have control over all of these things, and we do have multiple decision points throughout our days that we can influence, we can change, and see what that does for the outcomes that we're really going for. With things like nutrition, sleep, movement, the decisions that we make leading up to the meals and our bedtime and workouts, if we look at what we're doing and how those things contribute to our lives, it becomes very clear that we either have or have not been in active mode making those decisions. If we're just in a passive, I'm doing things as I've done for the last 10 weeks or for the last 10 years, who knows? There was another comment that was made recently that was about, I heard someone say, I really just got into the habit of eating sweets whenever I wanted to eat sweets because it was satisfying to me, and I didn't take any responsibility for what that was doing to my body or what that was doing to my mood. I wasn't looking at it in any way other than that moment of satisfaction when I was eating the sweets. And we all do that at different times with different things. And we have to be able to challenge ourselves and ask if it is worth it. Because if that's going to compromise our long-term health, or that's going to cause us to gain weight, or cause us to have diabetes, or whatever our habits are leading to, is that worth it? Are we willing to accept the outcome of that? And if we don't want to accept that they have consequences, we're only kidding ourselves. There's going to be a point of no return where we have to just accept the fact that what we've done has set us up for the outcomes that we're now dealing with. So what I really challenge everyone to do is to look at your current activities in your day, look at your schedule and how you plan things and what your outcomes are, and see if they are what you want them to be. If you feel like you would like to have a better diet, or if you'd like to have more energy, or you want to feel more fit, or be more productive, have more energy, like all of these things, being energized leads to other things. It leads to more productivity. It leads to going on trips and vacationing and things like that. Because if we don't have energy, we don't feel like doing any of that. If we're not healthy, we're not doing things that we love doing, very likely, because we don't feel healthy enough. We don't feel inspired enough. And those are the things that I want for each and every one of you who are listening, because we deserve it. We deserve to have the lives that we want to have. And we need to be active in pursuit of that life and make sure that we are really mindful of where we want to be in life and what we want to be doing. So I hope that we can all reconsider our behaviors and what we can do to live more consciously and be more intentional. It's amazing when I'll talk to people and they'll say, well, I don't really know what I want to be different. I just know that I'm unhappy. And it's a process for some people to really walk through that realization of what it is that we really want, because we do become so, I don't want to say robotic, because I think we do things in life that just get us by. It doesn't necessarily feel robotic, but it is very repetitive. I think that what we can do is support each other and encourage each other to do things better and to expect a higher level of performance from ourselves and then contribute to that in a very specific way. So it's not going to be the same for everyone. Depending on what it is that you want, you can identify one thing that you really would like to change, and then for a day or so, look at what it is that you're doing to contribute each day, and just understand. We'll go back to the example of productivity. We're going to go through a day or two of what am I doing productively, and then when am I not productive, and just really see that, wow, only 10% of my day am I actually productive. Think of how much more I can accomplish if I do this with more intention. And then you can follow up with that to identify areas of certain behaviors that can contribute, and areas of your schedule that you could improve that could really make that difference and help you hit your goal. So one of the things that I'm doing is I am starting a new membership, if anyone's interested, that helps on a weekly basis to go through very specifically these types of topics, and then answering questions, going through examples, and helping people really up the level of their health and performance throughout the year. So the goal is to make sure that everyone feels supported and has the accountability and the inspiration that they need to really end up at the end of the year in a better place. And everyone's different, but this is a really good opportunity to move things forward. It is exciting because being able to be in a group of people who are all committed to improving their performance and their health is something that is invaluable. Surrounding yourself with people who are wanting to improve and are like you and have similar questions and similar issues and similar goals is really helpful. So I hope everyone is going to have a great rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much for joining me to learn about DNA health. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. If you'd like to join my free community where we delve into more details about DNA, just click Community below.